it's 2200 hours in Banjul. We're broadcasting live for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Coming up, government unveils plans to create special economic zones across the country, which will boost economic activities and create employment opportunities. The Gambia Police Force decorates over a dozen officers under the anti-crime unit. The Gambia Press Union holds a two-day convergence to review and adopt key documents coupled with the filling of vacant seats at the executive level. University of the Gambia validates the institution's strategic policy document for the year 2021-2025. And elsewhere around the world, Kenyan hospitality industry is gearing up for the festive season with renewed hope despite the huge impacts of COVID-19. These and many more coming ahead in the news with me, Fatili Kamaloshi. Many thanks for joining us. Welcome back. It's good to have you with us. Now, the newly appointed Minister of Trade has revealed the plans by the government of the Gambia to create special economic zones across the country, which will boost economic activities and create employment opportunities. Honorable Sidi Keita said this at a major meeting in Jara Soma during the ongoing Meet the People tour by His Excellency Adama Barrow. As we hear in this report by Mamadou S. Jallo, President Barrow has assured the people of Jara that his government will address their development needs.
The president resumed his Meet the People tour after taking a day's break on Monday to address two meetings in Japine and Jara Soma as part of his ongoing nationwide engagement. The Gambian leader was met with a fitting reception at the entrance of the village and escorted to the meeting venue in a jubilant procession. The Japine meeting was addressed by several speakers selected from around the Jara Central District, who were tasked with bringing out their development needs to the attention of the government. Among the speakers was former National Assembly member for Jara Central, Fode Langsar, but it was the present National Assembly member Honorable Keba Jallo whose appearance at the meeting made headlines, as the lawmaker announced his defection from the Gambia Democratic Congress to the National People's Party. Jallo explained his reasons for doing so whilst pledging his full allegiance to President Barrow's development agenda. Responding to issues raised during the meeting, Tourism Minister Ahmad Ba, Local Governments Musa Drame and Health Minister Dr. Ahmadu Lamin Samate all assured the people of Jara Central that their concerns will be addressed before President Barrow took to the podium to express his satisfaction with the show of support from the people of Jara Central, and then assuring them that the time has arrived for the area to benefit from development projects under his regime. From Japine, the president drove to Jara Soma, where a large crowd had assembled to welcome the head of state and delegation before presiding over a well-attended meeting at the Soma Lower Basic School grounds. Issues of development dominated the agenda at the Soma meeting, one of which was the lack of good roads and health facilities for the people of Kabada and other settlements in the district, which was raised at both the Japine and Jara Soma meetings. Speaking for the first time during the tour, Trade Minister Sidi Keita, who is the newest member of President Barrow's cabinet and a native of the area, said he was impressed with the government's development agenda, which convinced him to end more than 2 decades of international appointment and take up the ministerial post. Mr. Keita cited the numerous self-funded development projects by the Barrow-led government as the best approach for sustainable development.
Nyinem sinya foloti infrastructure projects ya dapasi banko fola na fuloto ni aje ko wonana man soto jang gol men be ka kenu jang abeka ke julola wala grant so way nyim masa kuna fa tardende le demanding katu keme o keme ni nyim masa kuna e o soto tanna be kara julu jol bar sain do ko silo men be keri julute tara Gambian town koteke nyimma sakunda inara dokuwal.
The Trade Minister also revealed plans of creating special economic zones across the country, and preliminary works are underway to set up the first one in the Lower River region. This, he said, will boost economic activities and create job opportunities for Gambians. Addressing the gathering, President Barrow thanked the people of Jara for the welcome accorded to him, which he said manifested his popularity in the region. The Gambian leader pointed out that Jara remains a priority of his development agenda and that their concerns will be addressed along the line. President Barrow also reiterated his call for Gambians to support his government's development process. The tour continues with meetings in the Kiang area on Wednesday and Thursday. Omar Jalo, GRTS News.
And moving on, the Gambia Police Force decorates 16 officers from the anti-crime unit. The ceremony that took place at the anti-crime headquarters was graced by top officials from the Gambia Police Force and other personnel. Amrita Isanyang has more.
To invigorate the officers and to ensure active community policing, the Gambia Police Force decorates 16 officers of the anti-crime unit. The ceremony was graced by officials of the Gambia Police Force and other personnel. The anti-crime unit Commander Superintendent Momodu Sow delved into the unit's efforts to combating crimes in the country.
It is about time the police and the general public synchronize efforts in strategic and logistics manners to quickly and appropriately curb the occurrence of crime in our society. In this connection, the police anti-crime unit is always more than willing to partner with every good citizen who is willing to share any relevant information relating to crime within our vicinities.
Representing the IGP, the Assistant IGP Ibrahim Abba highlighted what prompted the promotions of the officers.
Today's declaration is an indication of the value placed on non-commissioned officers working in the Gambia Police Force. Usually, decoration ceremonies are held for only superior officers, or SPOs as they are called in the police. But today's decoration ceremony is unprecedented in the annals of the Gambia Police Force because we want to send a message of goodwill and encouragement to the non-commissioned officers.
Deputy CEO of OIC Gambia Secretariat Esa Bokasi highlighted the importance of community policing in the country.
We cannot achieve our goals as a community in the absence of human intelligence and in the absence of community policing. Where it is needed as far as there is life, and we want to remain in stability.
The elite squad has played a significant role in reducing crime rates in the country since the establishment of the unit. The operations include night raids in suspected criminal hideouts. Therefore, the move, they say, will significantly encourage the officers to operate with excellence. Aminata Isanyang, GRTS.
Now, the Gambia Press Union began a two-day extraordinary meeting to review and adopt the collective bargaining document, sexual harassment policy, and Cherno Jalo Charter of ethics for journalists. The forum will also see the elections of vice president and an ordinary member in the executive following the resignation of Mustafa K. Dabo and Fatou Sow, who is not in the country. Usman Mani reports.
The conditions of work and remuneration of journalists and workers in the media is the least favorable in the Gambia. Evidence have established that low pay, unfavorable work conditions, sexual harassment and standard ethics has been the key obstacle to the progress of journalism and media work. Findings from a research conducted by GPU, supported by International Journalists Federation, raised these concerns. Speaking at the extraordinary meeting of the union, Secretary General Sekou Jammeh explained what the collective bargaining seeks to achieve. He said the document was prepared in consultation with media owners.
What it does essentially is that it establishes minimum standards for the industry in terms of pay, in terms of recruitment, in terms of qualification, and a lot of other issues that we needed to address as an industry. The objective of collective bargaining framework anywhere else in the world are mainly three, because when you have it in place, it improves the quality of journalism. This is rooted in the argument that when journalists when their welfare is properly taken care of, then they give you quality work. But also, what people don't talk about much with respect to collective bargaining is that it promotes stability in the industry.
Addressing issues of gender-based violence, GPU has also developed the sexual harassment policy to create an enabling environment for members, including women, at their workplaces. Mustafa Mbai is the chairman, Ethics and Disciplinary Committee.
The Gambia President is very much concerned about the welfare of its members. And sexual harassment, of course, we all know, going by the definition, is something that is happening every day in every aspect of life, including where the media and media personnel operates. So we feel that something needs to be done, and we need to be very clear in what needs to be done, and that is why we decided to ensure that this document is adopted so that our members will live and work safely and dignifiedly in their various institutions.
The profession is changing, which poses a challenge to the fundamentals of media ethics. The union revised the Code of Conduct, now renamed after a veteran media professional, Cherno Jalo Charter of Ethics for Journalists.
I devoted a lot of time and energy on just ethical issues so that we can have a press that is really, at least the public can respect, that can earn the respect of the public. If we really fail in our ethical values and we lose the respect of the public, then we are discredited forever. Then we are a trust, we are nothing. That's why, so much emphasis are placed on ethics.
Junkun Jobate is the Executive Secretary, National Media Council.
In a few days, we will officially launch our website, which is ready. And the website would also contain a handle for complaint resolution and the form, the process of resolving complaints and the form in which you can fill to make a complaint against any media report or broadcast that one feels aggrieved about.
In fulfilling democratic principles, the Gambia Press Union will on Thursday fill the vacant positions of Vice President and an ordinary member in the executive in an election following the resignation of Mustafa K. Dabo and Fatou Sow respectively. Usman Mane, GRTS.
Now, the University of the Gambia has validated its new draft strategic development plan for 2021-2025. The document, as we hear in this report by Janke Toure, will serve as a roadmap for the development of the school.
With the vision to promote equitable and sustainable socio-economic development of communities through relevant outreach programs, the University of the Gambia has validated its strategic plan document 2021 to 2025. The objective of the document, according to officials, is to help guide the development of the University of the Gambia. The acting Vice Chancellor, University of the Gambia, Professor Per Gomez, harped on the significance of the draft document, stating that it is a milestone towards the transformation and repositioning of the school, while highlighting the giant strides undertaken by the UTG.
For the past decade, UTG has been operating without a strategic plan, a reality we are not proud of. The consequence is a total disarray in worst-case scenarios or hiccups in operationalization. Hence the need for honest reflection to realize the need we want.
According to the chairman of the UTG Governing Council, Professor Mamadou Mustafa Fane, the school is formulating its strategic document for the first time in over 2 decades, which will be put to consideration. The strategic plan document is built on 8 thematic pillars. Each of the pillars, including governance, has a goal, objectives, and strategies with key performance indicators. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, highlighted the significance of the document. For PS Seka, UTG operating without a strategic plan is beyond imagination.
At least 2 decades old and has produced thousands of graduates, we cannot, with much honesty, claim that the university is still at its infancy. Gambians are serving humanity in every part of the world, in high positions for that matter. Through 20 years, a lot of water has passed under the bridge, and that child of 1999 today should have grown into a young adult, and the UTG cannot be an exception.
It could be noted that the University of the Gambia was established by an Act of Parliament in September 1999, following much debate and study for its sustainability. And for 2 decades, the UTG has come up with its first ever strategic plan document for the school. It is hoped that the new document will serve as a roadmap for the university and shape the development agenda of the country. For the news, I am Jenke Toure.
The National Youth Council has held its second retreat and youth dialogue on electoral reforms, democracy and development. The 2-day youth convergence draws the participation of 65 youths from across the country. Pawasila picks up the rest of that story.
The crucial roundtable preceded by the National Youth Dialogue on electoral reform is themed on promoting meaningful engagement and inclusion of young people in electoral processes as leaders of the present and future, while the retreat is centered on promoting youth participation in decision-making processes. The 2-day dialogue will create a peer review platform for youth leaders and their respective organizations to evaluate progress registered during 2020 and discuss challenges and recommendations for the year ahead. The Executive Director of the National Youth Council, Alaji Jaju, called for strong communication and interface among youths, without which he said it will be difficult to hold each other accountable.
This initiative is aimed at providing a peer review platform for youth leaders and their respective organizations to review progress registered during the year under review, discuss challenges, suggest recommendations for improvement, and collectively plan for the year ahead to better serve the young people of this country. In the absence of systemic communication and interface between youth and their structures, it will be difficult to hold each other mutually accountable. This platform is created to bridge that gap and to ensure effective coordination, build synergy, and encourage cross-sectoral collaboration amongst ourselves, especially as young people.
The platform, according to the NYC boss, is meant to bridge the communication gap and ensure effective coordination, strong synergy, and cross-sectoral collaboration among young people. Deputizing for the Minister of Youth and Sport, the chairman of National Youth Council, Usman Fati, commended the government for placing young people at the center of the national development, citing the impact of ongoing reforms.
Youth concerns and needs evolve rapidly over time, and therefore, after 20 years of current act, the time is ripe to have an act that will address the needs of the young people of the Gambia in the 21st century and beyond. Indeed, youth's engagement in the peace, pre, during, and post-elections, participation in politics are key factors not only for democratic consolidation processes, but also for everlasting peace and stability of the country.
The National Youth Council was established by an Act of Parliament in 2000. The agency is actively operating in all 7 administrative regions and districts with over 125 registered national and community-based youth civil society organizations under its fold. The agency is mandated to mobilize, coordinate, and supervise youth groups, implement national youth programs, and advise the government on youth matters. For GRTS News, I am Baba Silla.
Now to this press release from the Gambia Immigration Department, and it reads, following the alleged abuse of a Sierra Leonean and a Guinean national by officers of Gambia Immigration Department that has been making rounds on the social media, the Office of the Director General of Gambia Immigration Department wishes to inform the public that it has received the said allegations with a great deal of dismay. Consequently, the Office of the Director General sanctioned an urgent and comprehensive investigation into the matter to ensure that facts surrounding the allegations are established and possible perpetrators of the alleged physical abuse are brought to book. However, the GID wants to make it absolutely clear that no such abuses have been officially reported to any of their stations, and all efforts to hear from the alleged victims have so far proved unsuccessful. Gambia Immigration Department, the release adds, acknowledges the existing cordial relationship with the non-Gambian community in the country and would continue to cherish that relationship for the common good. In view of the above, Gambia Immigration Department wished to assure the public of its unwavering commitment in respecting the rights of the citizenry and residents of the Gambia at all times. Thus, any immigration officer found wanting will face strict disciplinary actions accordingly. While the institution strives to serving Gambians and non-Gambians alike in the most professional manner, the GID encourages the public to report all forms of misconduct to the Public Relations Officer at GID headquarters in person or contact telephone numbers on 9966-189 or 422-8717. The Gambia Immigration Department assured everyone a safe and tolerant Gambian society. The release ends. And moving on, UK-based Gambian Nollywood African movie star Chokli Shingle returns to the Gambia after months of movie projects and philanthropy. The official unveiling and cocktail reception of the star will give him the opportunity to unveil his projects. Zainabu Jani was at the airport as she filed in this report.
Arriving at the newly refurbished Banjul International Airport, CEO of Shing's Promotions, Chokli Shingle, based in Leeds, is an all-rounder actor who has appeared in several movies, including the series Wives, currently available on BBTV Online, and The Evil That Men Do on YouTube, among a host of other movies. Chokli Shingle's ability to show a vulnerable side to his role, in spite of his physical, almost 7-foot stature, has endeared him to audiences around the world, and made him a favourite in the African film industry in the United Kingdom. Despite the strict lockdown measures in the United Kingdom, the Banjul International Airport still receives flights which will give Chokli the opportunity to see his family and friends as well as work on his new projects. Speaking to GRTS, the movie actor and philanthropist explains his mission to the Gambia.
To be fair, it's not been that long because I was here in January and I was meant to come back in March to do a project, but then because of the lockdown it couldn't happen. So since then we've been planning on coming but never materialized. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, happy to be here. It was give or take whether it was going to happen because as you probably saw in the news, England is in lockdown, but fingers crossed we made it, so we're good. I'm here till around the 3rd, but then I've got a project in Senegal, so I'm going to Senegal on the 27th, and I'll be there for a week because I've got some projects there to do. Well, I'll probably be doing most of my philanthropy stuff, but then filming-wise, not in the Gambia yet.
With a philanthropic background, Chokli shares why his focus on widows in particular is his drive in rendering support.
Well, I'm very close to my mom, and I like helping women, especially women that don't have help because the male partner's not there and they've got kids to raise. It's difficult for them because most of them probably get their bits and pieces from the market. So any little that you can do to help goes a long way. And I believe in the more you give, the more you get. So
Christmas Day is my mom's birthday. Now, she's passed in April, so I'm looking to probably do something to commemorate the day. So.
Chukli, who lost his mother in April but couldn't come back due to the lockdown, has now arrived at his family home in Fajara. Chukli and friends will be preparing for the official unveiling cocktail reception on the 5th of January 2021 at the MV Clubhouse in Fajara. Sainabu Jain for GRTS News.
Nice one. To the Upper River region now, where the Task Advisory Committee of the region is holding its quarterly meeting, where heads of institutions and departments gathered to share their activity report on their achievements and constraints within the region. The governor of the region, Sambaba, presided over the meeting. Seydou Kamara covered the event and filed in this report.
The meeting came barely a year after the last Task Force Advisory Committee program. This quarterly forum availed the various heads of institutions and departments the opportunity to share their activities reports, achievements registered, and find means of solving their constraints. The two-day TAC engagement meeting also highlighted some of the objectives of the program and expectations.
This report will collate to have our quarterly report for onward delivery to the national level. So the meeting is very, very important. I urge everyone in this hall here to make this meeting more participatory.
This is a forum where actually we will share our knowledge experience in terms of our activity implementation. We know the sizes of institutions that differ, so also would also be the volume of presentations that would actually be shown here. But I would seek your indulgence. This is like any other activity. We need to have ground rules so that it is participatory and everybody is able to have at least a gist of whatever is going to be presented here per institution.
The governor of the region, Sambaba, expressed delight on the turnout of the TAC members, adding that the meeting will help them to prepare an institutional report which will be used as a guide in the implementation of projects to improve lives and livelihoods of people in URR.
We are here gathered as heads of institutions and departments to make sure that we now cross-check each other's department's work. We try to polish it in order for us to have a better development for this region. We all know, as we are seated here as heads of institutions, we are either representing government or we are partnering with government to make sure that we help improve the lives and livelihoods of the people that we represent. And the people that we represent are the people of Upper River region. And therefore we are here in Upper River region to make sure that we impact positively on the lives and livelihood of the people of Upper River region.
According to Governor Bam, the Task Force Advisory Committee meeting will serve as an avenue for heads of various institutions to interact and share best practices and ideas for a better working environment and as well improve the well-being of the people in the region.
And anytime soon, as I said earlier, you leave office, you will leave a legacy that people will keep on talking positively in your absence. So we have the task and we have the role to play. We all know that as institutional heads, there is a body that we are representing. And there are people also who are serving under us. So therefore, the change of life of those particular people also lies in our hands.
The event also witnessed presentations by a representative of the Department of Livestock, Emmanuel Mendy, stating that 82.9% of ruminants in the regions have been vaccinated, whilst the immigrations also present their quarterly report on the achievements and challenges, particularly on documentation. It is hoped that at the end of the 2 days, the stakeholders will come up with a well-comprehensive institutional report for the region as well as a national project implementation that will represent. The meeting came barely a year after the last Task Force Advisory Committee program.
We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll look at news from beyond our borders. Stay. Welcome back. back. Now, the festive season is here with us again. However, due to COVID-19 related restrictions this time, it wouldn't be business as usual for many hospitality sector players. But some hotels in Kenya are recording increased business, giving them renewed hope ahead of the new year. CGTN's Nick Mudimba reports.
The Sawela Lodge, an increasingly popular holiday destination in Naivasha, Kenya, where signs depicting the festive season welcome visitors upon arrival. It's clear that business here is slowly getting back to normal as more guests check in. The hotel's management has been pleasantly surprised by the increase in visitor numbers, but it insists that observing the Ministry of Health guidelines remains their top priority.
As we prepare for festive period, we have put in place measures which will actually safeguard all our guests staying with us against the COVID-19 pandemic. We have also been certified by public health, and I must say we are doing pretty well in terms of the measures we put in place.
The expanded dining area captures the surge in the number of guests. The chefs are also busy preparing delicacies specially ordered.
Compared to other years, this year, from the time we reopened from the COVID-19, business has been booming for some time, and we've actually been operating at occupancy levels of more than 65%. So surprisingly as well, for the meeting rooms, they are all fully booked.
The rooms have to be well maintained to ensure they meet all the required health standards.
Before we reopened, we actually brought in staff members and did some training on the COVID, which was actually conducted by the Public Health Office based in Naivasha. They actually gave us guidelines. Everybody was trained and they know how to handle themselves during this pandemic.
2020 has been a difficult year for many Kenyans, and the festive season has actually offered an avenue to unwind. Hotels here are actually booked at 90% capacity, something that many didn't expect, but it's all about the mind, relaxing, hoping that 2021 will actually offer a good platform and a softer landing for so many who've seen the COVID-19 drought in 2020. Nick Mudimba, CGTN, Naivasha, Kenya.
And now a look at the weather report courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the weather update from the Central Forecast Office with your presenter, Mamsa Nasser. First with the summary. It was cool and cloudy in the morning, while fairly warm and sunny with the persistence of slight hazy condition in the afternoon. Tonight, cool with the slight hazy condition continue to prevail. While tomorrow's weather, it is expected to be cool in the morning, while warm and sunny in the afternoon with the slight hazy condition continuing during the evening. Winds will be mainly northeasterlies across the country with a speed ranging from 10 to 20 km per hour. Minimum temperatures are expected to be 17 degrees Celsius over Greater Banjul area and West Coast region, 16 degrees Celsius over Lower River region, whereas the rest of the country recorded 15 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperatures are expected to be 33 degrees Celsius over Greater Banjul area, 34 over West Coast, 35 over North Bank and Lower River region, whereas 36 degrees Celsius over Central and Upper River region. For the marine forecast, low tides are expected to be 0.5 meters at 12 p.m., while high tides will be 1.4 meter at 4 a.m. and at 5 p.m. Sea state will be moderate with wave height of 1 meter northwesterly swells. The sun is expected to rise 27 minutes after the hour 7 and set at 18:44. Thanks for watching. Good night.
And before we end this newscast, a recap of main stories once again. Government has unveiled the plans to create special economic zones across the country, which will boost economic activities and create employment opportunities. The Gambia Police Force has decorated over a dozen officers under the anti-crime unit. The Gambia Press Union has held two-day convergence to review and adopt key documents coupled with the filling of vacant seats at the executive level. University of the Gambia is validating the institution's strategic policy document for the year 2021-2025. And elsewhere around the world, Kenyan hospitality industry is gearing up for the festive season with renewed hope despite the huge impacts of COVID-19. With that, we end this newscast from myself and the entire news team. Many thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good evening.
Misfortune seemed its lot. We got into a drift